This Barricade Vision Series rear bumper with LED work lights is for those of you that have a 2007 to 2018 JK that are looking for a bumper to add a lot of function and some form to the back of your Jeep and also get that big heavy spare tire off the factory mount, which can cause quite a few issues that we'll touch on in just a second. Now, I am going to give this bumper installation a 2 out of 3 wrenches. The bumper itself bolts right onto your Jeep very easily, but because there is a tire carrier, there's a little bit of assembly to do here, and there's also going to be a little bit of cut and splicing to do in order to get these lights working properly. So again, 2 out of 3 wrenches, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. So when you are talking about a spare tire that gets mounted on your bumper, you're going to solve a couple of different problems. When you try and mount a big spare on that factory location, you're going to run into a couple of issues, and one is room. The tire can actually make contact with the bumper when you try and open and close the tailgate, so physically you just don't have enough room to run a big tire in that factory location. 2, your tailgate hinges can start to wear to the point where you have to lift up on the tailgate every time you open it and close it. That can also cause some noise. The welds on the tailgate can actually break, again, causing some rattling. And finally, the spare tire mount that comes on your Jeep from the factory is only designed for the weight of a factory spare tire. When you put a big heavy spare on there, that metal can actually fatigue and break over time. So in order to fix all 3 of those problems, you're really looking at one of 2 different solutions. One is a nice heavy duty tub mounted tire carrier, or 2, something like this, which is a bumper mounted tire carrier. And a lot of you guys really like the way that this looks and the way that this functions. So if you are looking for a bumper mounted tire carrier that has some extra features built into it, like the D-ring recovery points here and also these LED reverse lights, I think this is going to be a really nice choice at a pretty fair price. This is really going to come to you as 2 pieces with also a bunch of other stuff that you need to make everything work together. So the one main piece, of course, is the bumper. This is pretty much one piece here. You're going to have a separate piece that you could unbolt if you wanted to here. That's going to be the surround for your light, and then your light itself. Those are going to be right here flanking either side of the bumper, and that's going to give you a nice bright flood beam behind you when you turn on those reverse lights, or if you decided to wire these in a different way, you could, and that's going to make it a lot easier to back up your Jeep, especially at night, especially if you have some tinted windows. You guys know when you put a big spare tire, even if you mount it as low as possible on this spare tire mount, it's still a little bit tough to see out that back window. So this is going to make it a lot easier and a lot safer for you to back up. Of course, it does have these D-ring mounts, and this also comes with D-rings right in the box, which is a pretty nice feature. So you're going to have those for any recoveries that you might need to do. Now, the tire carrier is a place where I feel like this setup really shines. There are a lot of tire carriers out there that don't have all the features that this one has. Now, one of the features that I'm talking about is the ability to adjust your tire up and down, and we just touched on that a little bit just a second ago. So if you're only running maybe a small 35-inch tire, you want to be able to mount that as low as possible so you can still get the maximum view out that back window. So you have a nice deep cutout in the bumper, and you have the adjustability to lower that tire down as far as it'll go, again, giving you the max view out that back window. Now, maybe more important than the up and down adjustability is the in and out adjustability. You want that tire to be tight up against this tire carrier. That way it can't torque and rattle around, which can fatigue the metal, which can cause some noise, some undue wear and vibration. So again, making sure that tire is nice and tight up against the tire carrier is important, and this has the adjustability to allow you to do that. Now, the third thing is that you want the tire carrier to be nice and tight up against the body of the Jeep. Again, that's going to eliminate any rattling and any additional metal fatigue. So this actually has 2 bumpers that mount here, and they're designed to go right up against the factory tailgate snubbers, keeping everything nice and tight, and again, they're adjustable as well. So I think this tire carrier is very well thought out from an adjustability standpoint. From the standpoint of the actual spindle, it's going to have a couple of bearings in there, which is going to make it easier and give it a longer life than some of the other options. Some of them are just a steel tube over a steel dowel, essentially. This is going to have a bearing system inside of it, again, making things easier for you to open and close, even when you have a big 37-inch spare tire on this tire carrier, which is the maximum. So between the adjustability of the tire carrier, the recovery points, the reverse lights, the style of this bumper, I think that this bumper has a lot going for it in terms of both form and function. I'll give this installation a 2 out of 3 wrenches, and the process should take you right around 2 hours or so. And it's only getting a 2 out of 3 wrenches because of the little bit of wiring that's necessary to get those LED work lights wired up and working. So the first step in the install is going to be removing that factory rear bumper, which you'll do by simply unbolting it from the frame rails and removing it from the Jeep. After that, you can bolt the new rear bumper onto the Jeep and then go ahead and attach the tire carrier. The tire carrier is going to slide over the spindle, then you'll actually attach the tire mount onto the tire carrier and make the adjustments to ensure that your tire stays nice and tight up against the carrier and the carrier rests tightly up against the tailgate. Once that process is finished, you can go ahead and wire up those LED work lights. Now those are going to get wired either to a switch on the dashboard, or you can wire them directly into the reverse light circuit on your Jeep so they come on automatically when you put the Jeep in reverse. This bumper tire carrier combination comes in at $850. Now that certainly isn't the most expensive bumper and tire carrier combination that's out there. There are some that are more expensive. I think that this one's actually very fairly priced for what you're getting. I just went over all the features that are packed into this bumper, from the adjustability of the tire carrier to the D-ring to the reverse lights, the style that this bumper provides, the fact that it's completely bolt-on. This bumper has a lot going for it, and I think for the $850 price tag, it's actually a very fair price. There are bumpers out there that cost the same or more and don't give you all of the features that this one does. So if you're looking for a rear bumper and tire carrier combination that is packed full of features and priced very fairly, I think this is going to be an excellent choice for you, and you can find it right here at ExtremeTerrain.com.